everybody, it's Camille Martin with Love to Lose, where I will teach you how to love your life and lose the weight. In today's video, I want to talk about women and rage, and specifically how our anger ends up turning into rage because we shove it down so much. We're really trained as women not to express our feelings of anger and frustration. We're trained to put a smile on our faces, shove it all down, and keep right on rolling. And so in today's video, I want to talk about how shoved down anger turns into rage and the consequences of not expressing that rage in your life. And I also want to tell you a personal story about how I finally let out my rage, and it's kind of a crazy story, so I'm going to tell it. I hope you enjoy it, and then learn from that and see how you can express your own anger or rage and how it can be truly life-changing. So a few years ago when I was going through my divorce, which actually I didn't know at the time that my marriage would actually end in divorce, but my marriage was starting to crumble. And in order to get away from all of the chaos, I took my oldest daughter with me back to Georgia to go to a college football game so we could relax. So long story short, if you go to the football game, you can pull right up to the stadium gates and get out, but only if it's before the team does their official walk-in where they go through the gates and the fans get to cheer them on. So my 80-year-old mother was driving my daughter and me down to the stadium. And once you get there at a certain point, if it's past the point and there's not enough time to get your stuff and get out before the walkthrough happens, the campus cops wave you along and you have to keep driving around for about an hour. So we thought we left him plenty of time, but we ended up cutting it too close. And when we pulled up to the stadium gates, we quickly saw that we were not going to have time to get out and that we'd missed the cutoff. So meanwhile, all of these half-drunk college students were jumping out of their cars with full coolers full of drinks and making a break for it and running from the scene. And none of the cops were saying anything about this. They were just going along their merry way. So my mom and I thought that it would be okay to pull forward far enough that it would be legal to get out of the car. Unfortunately, one of the campus cops didn't think that this was a good idea. So even though we'd pulled far enough forward that we were not in any way, shape, or form in the way of the football team, I got out of the car and I had no sooner jumped out, but this college campus cop had come straight for me and started banging her hand on the back of my mom's car, telling her to leave. And I said, I'm not letting my mom drive off without getting my daughter out of the car first. And so in a split-second decision, I decided to open the car door for my daughter to get out, and I asked her to get out of the car, which she did. So this campus cop went crazy and started screaming at me and yelling at me and making this big scene. And then before I knew it, this man had come over and was literally inches from my face, pointing his finger in my face and screaming at me. But because he was dressed like a fan, I had no idea who he was. Well, it turns out he ended up being the campus police chief. So I didn't know this, but he's screaming at me in my face, and literally something inside me completely snapped. I had been a good girl my whole life. I had spent 48 years playing by the rules, following all instructions and never pushing back, certainly never standing up for myself, especially if it was a man who was giving me the instructions or laying down the law, no pun intended. But for some reason, in the midst of my divorce and all of the chaos and all of really just a lifetime of putting up with stuff and shoving it all down, shoving down my anger and putting a smile on my face and trying to make everybody else happy, somehow all of that rage that had been building completely unleashed that day on this campus cop, on the police chief. Instead of backing away and saying, I'm so sorry, you know, please don't be mad at me, I took one step forward and pointed right back in his face and said, "Get out of my face. You are scaring my child." Y'all, I have no idea where that came from. I mean, I shocked myself more than anything. But then he said, "Write her a ticket." And I said, "Go ahead, write me a ticket. I don't care." And then that pissed him off even more than he already was. And so he officially banned me from campus. So once that happened, he grabbed some GBI agents, of all things. That's the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, if you don't know what that is, and had them escort me and my daughter from the scene. I was filled with such a mix of fear, but also triumph. And yes, a feeling of like, yeah, I did that. I was afraid though, initially, because I had broken the rules. I had broken the law, apparently. I had pushed back. I had said, "No, you're not going to talk to me like that. You're not going to control me. I'm not going to allow you to stand here and treat me like this." And I had never done that before. So it was completely foreign. But in that moment, I realized that that fear was irrational and totally unwarranted. And so I made a decision consciously to embrace what I had just done, to embrace my power as a woman, and to not be sorry about it. That decision to let my rage out and to embrace that rage, it changed the course of my entire life, because I was now expressing my anger and my rage and embracing it and not resisting it and shoving it down. It opened the door for me to say no to a lot more people and a lot more situations that I felt like I was being taken advantage of, or I was being talked down to, or treated less than I should be treated. And so it helped me not just leave a marriage that was not fulfilling. It helped me model what strength and confidence look like to my daughters who needed to see that. And most importantly, it helped me identify when my gut was speaking to me and my intuition was telling me, "No, this isn't right." And it helped me learn to pay attention to that and to not ignore what my inner self was really telling me. Most importantly, it helped me be right here where I am, teaching women like you how to model, how to embrace their power, how to let their feelings out, how to say, "No, this isn't what I want to do," and how to take up space and be in your space and own your power. That's what I want for you, and it's what I want for every woman. I want all of us to start saying no more often. I want us to stop RSVPing yes to the party when we don't want to go. I want us to stop moving out of everyone's way. I want us to stop apologizing incessantly, because you know what happens when we live like that? That's what makes us shoving down all of that anger and those feelings of I'm being taken advantage of and I'm being walked over and I'm not saying what I want and what I need. What happens is that we start binge eating. That's what makes us binge eat. It's what makes us numb out with alcohol or drink too much wine and come home at the end of the day, grab Ben and Jerry's and a big old glass of red wine and just completely check out, because we have to make ourselves feel better, because all of that anger and that rage is simmering and festering in our souls. And that's what we do to make ourselves feel better. So the more you say, no, I'm not putting up with this. And the more you honor your feelings and take up your space, the less you will need to do things like binge eat and binge drink. Do I want you to wake up tomorrow morning and go tell everyone you know to F off? And do I want you to pull the ripcord on your life? Not necessarily. Maybe you get up tomorrow and you say no, or you don't apologize, or you tell someone what you need. But maybe you do need to pull the ripcord on some people who are in your life, who are toxic or who have negative energy. And maybe you're in a life that you didn't sign up for. That's what happened to me. And maybe if I hadn't let all of that anger build and build and build, it wouldn't have ended in the deterioration of not just my marriage, but my soul. Maybe if I'd said long before, "No, this isn't okay with me. No, I'm not going to put up with this," I wouldn't have found myself screaming at a campus police chief at a college football game. I just want you to take up your space. I want you to own your feelings. I want you to own who you really are and be free. Be free of that oppressive feeling of you are shoving down everything that's important to you, your feelings, your thoughts, your hopes, your dreams, and you're sacrificing all of that on the altar of serving everyone else in your life, everyone but yourself. I hope this video helped you today. I really, really, truly do. And if you haven't signed up for my weekly newsletter, make sure to head to my website at CamilleMartinRD.com so you can get weekly tips, inspiration, and motivation on your weight loss journey. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you here next time on Love to Lose.